Hey y'all, Randall-T here. I've been asked to do a quick video on Disco, a platform that is used for pitching songs to music agencies, publishers, music directors, music supervisors, things like that. It's a great little platform. I really like it. And I just kind of want to show you around some of the things I've discovered as people have asked me, how did you do that? I'm going to show you how I did that today. So let's just jump right in. We've got a lot to cover. We want to go and first to check out the pricing of what's going on here. So these are the different plans that are available. I'm going to be showing you features from the Plus version today. When you sign up, actually you get free 30 days, and I believe that is for the Pro version. You get to kind of see some of the features and stuff that are available there. But the Plus version seems to handle what I need to do. Someday I'll go bigger and do more things with it, I'm sure. You can get to Disco by disco.ac. It's not disco.com, it's disco.ac. So that's how you get to the tool itself. So let's take a look at the couple things that we're going to be doing with Disco. First, we're going to be creating track pages. This is a single song. This is a particular format that a lot of the music directors and supervisors love to see because you have the song, you can play the song by clicking the button, and you can start and stop all the way along. You can go to the places where there's obvious breaks and see what the breaks are doing. All the comments for the metadata are showing, and of course we have the lyrics to follow along, outlining the song. It's a really nice, clean format. So we'll show you how to build all that. And then also there's a playlist page. So you can see here that let's see, Halo has about 3 songs with me right now that we've worked on, and there's also like instrumentals for each of those 3 songs and vocal tracks, all sorts of stuff you can put in there. Some notes about the tracks. You even also have the ability to see the lyrics here, or you can also see the metadata there, and we'll show you how to do all that as well. So let's go to Disco and take a look at that. So this is Disco as you first log in. Right now it's showing all my playlists after I click the browse button. Shows all my playlists. Yours will probably not have as many in there just yet. Eventually it will. You also have the tracks listing, so you can click there, and those are all the tracks that are on the playlists. A track can belong to more than one playlist. That's an important concept. It's very handy. So you don't want to put in the same track over and over again. You just want to put in once, and then you put it onto different actual playlists. So as we do that, let's do some house cleaning first. So we actually want to go up to our settings and account, and we want to set some things in our business settings. So first thing we want to do is we want to add a logo. And that logo is going to show up as a default on your pages that are your regular page here. So this is in my Disco, so that logo shows up here in this corner, even though the page is for Halo. Halo would have her own Disco and could put her own logo there if she wanted to. That would be her choice. But I need to have a logo there, so I put my logo there. I put some information about my company, my name, where I'm at. This little setting right here is really nice because it actually shows you some information about the file. And so the reason that's valuable is I do a lot of updates of files onto the same track file. So let me show you real quickly what I mean by that. So if I go to a playlist, and I've got all these songs here on my production catalog, whatever, and I'm not sure which version of Bring All That let's do Double Take. I'm not sure which version I'm actually on. I can hover on that right there, and it tells me I am on version 3 of my mix. Even though the users don't see that, I can see it, and it helps me make sure that I've got the latest version going and make sure that I'm all synced up and ready to go. So that's an important feature. It does not come set up to do that way, so you have to change the settings to get that to work. So in here you can decide, you can drop down, you can decide which things you want to show. Only little caveat there is if I wanted to have comments at the beginning, which I don't, but if I did, I have to delete them all and rebuild that list. So a little clunky that way, but that's okay. The next thing you want to set is actually your, there is a default, the default for the MP3 transcoding. So this is when it converts my AIF file to MP3 automatically. You can decide how big and how much of a resolution you want to have on that. So I go with 192, a little nicer than 160, but it doesn't take as much room as a 256 or 320, so a little faster download. Also, themes are important. So I have a theme that I have set as my default. To modify a theme, you just click on the button, say Edit, and you can put in a logo, and you can put in your background image. So on On playlists, this is where this goes. So you'll see for Halo, I actually built a theme for her specifically. And we go to edit theme. So here's her picture. And then all I did is I took that same picture and I blurred it and added it as a background image. And the reason I did that is because it's a real quick and dirty way to get a nice coloring that's not just a color, because it kind of matches her picture here and it goes together. So that's an option there. But those themes do come into play when you're building the playlist. You'll need to select a theme or it will default to a theme. And you'll want to have that set up correctly. So that takes care of that. So that's the house cleaning that's really the most important. There's other $1 billion other features and settings, but those are the ones I like to make sure I get right. So let's go ahead and upload a track. The way you can upload a track is you can drag a file right here, and it's underneath the playlist creator. That's a little confusing because you like, well, where do I upload tracks? And it doesn't say anything anywhere. So you do it over here in the playlist creator. So we can click on it also and go select a track. So if I come in here and I go down to maybe one of my things that I've been working on here, my bounced files, and I can grab that file. So you can see right now it's uploading. That uploading status is going to change, and it's going to say, eventually it's going to say transcoding, which is actually the creation of the file, the MP3 file. So now it's processing, and you can see it's some things are going on. And actually at this point, I should be able to come over to tracks, and I'm going to see that file in play. So if I come down, scroll down to my Epicasso, and it is showing up right there. There it is, and you can see it's transcoding there. So basically, it's added to my library. It's there, ready to go. Now, if I wanted to get rid of that, there's a couple things to be noted. Is that one, I could just delete the track from Disco, and that would get rid of it everywhere. If it's residing on a playlist, however, you can go and edit the playlist and actually remove it from the playlist itself without deleting it from Disco. And that's really handy too, because the tracks, so let's take an example here. If you click here on here, this is actually a really good feature, is that it shows you the playlist it's in. You can see that this track, Find Out by the super talented Isaiah Jones, is actually located in 3 of my playlists for different reasons. And so that's really handy. However, if you have a track that is not assigned anywhere, it will tell you that too. So I left one in here on purpose. This one right here has no assignment. It says appears in 0 playlists. And actually, that's a candidate. Maybe I want to go ahead and delete the track because it doesn't belong to anything, or I can leave it there for use later on, and that's all fine. Okay, so that's how that works. If we come back to our setup over here, our stuff is done setting up. Again, it's important to note that actually I could edit at this point because it's a file. It's sitting there. I could come and edit it here and say, double click or click once on the triple dots, and I could say I want to edit the track information and come in and edit it here. Or I can do the same thing over on this side and say edit track information. It's all the same. It's just the 2 different place views. One thing also I wanted to point out with that though is that I can also do sharing from here. So I can click on there and I can say share, and I can click on this link to get the URL to share it out to somebody. I can do a stream only URL as well, or I can do a download only URL. If I click this button here, it actually takes me to a tab up here in the browser where it loads that link in automatically for me. We'll take a look at that in a second after we load some other things. So the first thing we want to do actually is come in and do some editing on it. Let me back up a second. The one other feature here is, aside from editing, we can do manage files and formats. And this is what I was talking about earlier with different versions. So let's suppose I do a version 9 of Epicasso, and I'm ready to update it to version 9, but I don't want to lose all my metadata, everything else that has to do with that track. So I just want to keep all the track information. I just want to change the file underneath it. You can click on here and you can say replace, and you can actually replace the AIF. You could replace the MP3 also, but I just do the AIF and it automatically will create the MP3 for me as part of that replacement. It's very slick. And so all your work setting up this stuff is not lost, and that's really important. Okay, so we come back over here. We're going to say edit. And one of the first things we're going to do is go ahead and grab an image. So in my case, I'm going to go to my folder where I have a bunch of themes, and I'm going to grab my logo. Let's go ahead and grab the black one. And so there it is. I can put in artist information if I want. I can, well, and I would want to. I'd want to put in the composer, genre, beats per minute tempo, the year. In this field, though, I want to put the metadata that's really important to selling the song. And what I do for that is I actually keep a template so that I could just drop that in and then update it accordingly. So come back here and we drop that information into the template. And then I can say add in feelings, sad, and whatever, and I can do all those kinds of things. You put in your information on the one-stop information, clearance, all the contact information you need to have there, your BMI or ASCAP Pro information, your IPIs. And this is all, nobody tells you exactly what this should be, so this is not necessarily the end-all way of doing it, but it's the way I do it. At that point, you could save, and now the metadata is being created and is becoming part of the file, and everything's ready to go. However, this metadata is not going to show up anywhere. It's actually embedded in the track, and we want it to be seen. So if you remember, if we go back to this particular thing, we want it to be seen here, and we want it to be seen when we click on this one right here. And right now, the way this track stands, it's not going to be showing up anywhere that way. So let's fix that. The way we fix that is we actually go over to notes. And this is interesting because just like in the last few weeks, this has changed. It used to be called comments. So this said comments, and then this said comments as well, but they've changed it to notes, which I think helps, lower the confusion. So we come into here, we click into here, we go ahead and do that same paste. We update all that information. The data here should match the data on the metadata side as well. So we want to have it be exact, but it's a manual thing you have to keep updated. And then there's a super important checkbox. Clients will be able to see this note. So we want to check that box, and now we say add note. So the note now exists for Epicasso version 8. You can come in and you can edit that anytime you want just by clicking on the triple dot. Also, that little icon there says that basically you can see it by the clients can see it. This part here, you could add more notes. I don't typically do that. I just kind of maintain the same one note. But this is the information that we're seeing right here. That's what that is. Even though it says comments, it's actually the notes. So some of the confusion there is why people can't seem to quite figure out how to get that stuff to show up. Likewise, over here we click on it. It says comments, but it's actually notes. So I just, just to make that clarification. So we have that information in there. And then also, of course, we want to add lyrics if it has lyrics, or if it's an instrumental like this one, sometimes I'll put in timing saying at this, at second 15, there's a big hit or something. I'll put in some information to guide the people who are listening to it who are surely going to want to buy my music. So we say put lyrics here. And let's do that just so we can see it as a test. So save lyrics. Now you'll notice that I've added a bunch of things. Everything's great. Metadata is all there. The notes are all there. We're ready to rock. I could add other things. That's up to you. But you notice that the save button is not there any longer, and I can't save anymore and get out. Well, the way you get out is just by clicking outside the white box. So click outside the white box and bam, we're out. So now my Epicasso V8 is there. I actually could rename that. So, and let's go ahead and do that. So once again, I can go track information. So instead of V8, I don't want to say V8. I just want to say Epicasso. But I'm going to do something real quick here just so it shows up at the top of my list. I'm going to put it 00. God, what is it? 00. 00. And now it's 00 with a colon. It's going to be alphabet sorted with that at the top. So save. Click outside, and there we are. It's changed now. So if we go to the tracks, you can see it changed here as well. And if I do a sort by title, that should float to the top now. There it is. So we have that done. So our track is made. We're ready to roll. I could add more tracks to it if I wanted to just by dragging and dropping from the track list. I can also drag and drop from playlists. So if I have a playlist here and I have a bunch of tracks in my playlist, just by single clicking it opens up all the tracks that are assigned to that playlist. I could say, I want to add that to this over here as well. So I just come over, drag it on, and bam, it's added as well. And let's suppose I added a couple. If I wanted also to put those separations in, that's one thing that people weren't able to find very easily. So you go up here, triple dot, add section. You can type in instrumental. And if you notice, it's in smaller letters, but when you actually create the section, it capitalizes it no matter what. Kind of an interesting thing. And then you can drag it and put it wherever you want. The tracks that are underneath inst are going to show up as a subcategory of that inst separator. We'll see that as we save it. So we have the main track, we have maybe some instrumental tracks here, and I could add more and keep building on it however I like, but we're ready now to save it. I could name it here if I wanted to, or when I save it, it gives me another opportunity to name it here. So I can go ahead and name it there. So we're going to go ahead and do the 00 again. This is a test playlist. Some important things here you'll want to check. The most important is usually when you open it up, actually, it opens up with this show more options and you can't see everything that's there. Click that, because right underneath there is where you're going to actually say show lyrics. You want to show the lyrics. If you don't click that, then over here you will not see lyrics here, and over here that button will not appear. So you absolutely want to make sure that you have show lyrics in play. We do that. We also have a message area, so we can say a test message here. Oh my goodness, message. And we're going to save that so you can see where that shows up. And we're now ready to save our playlist. So we're going to save it, and it's going to come up and say, hey, here's a share link. You probably want to go ahead and share this right away. And you may want to do that. So you can copy that, and it copies that information so that you can send it to your people who are interested in your music. And also you can do a quick test run of it, and you can click on this button. It'll open it up here in the browser. It's loading, and there it is. So here's my business logo. Here's the logo I did for the track itself. Here's my theme background. That's a blur that I loaded. Here's the instrument tracks that we loaded in that are below the instrument piece. Here's that little test message I put in. I usually often use that, especially on a list like where I'm sharing the latest mixes and masters with my partners. I'll put in dates of each mastering and versions and make sure they have the latest, greatest. Of course, you can come over here and you can download this stuff. It just started downloading down here into a zip file, so it's downloading all these tracks. Or you can come over here and download them. You can download the AIF or the MP3, or you can save it to your own Disco account. That takes care of that. So let's go back to, oh, I did miss one little thing here. So actually when we were making that, we're gonna edit it. So let's go ahead to the playlists. Let's do a quick short A to Z again, and that playlist should pop to the top. There it is. Let's do an edit, so I can come in and I can say edit playlist from the triple drop down, or I can just hit this little pencil, either way. So we do that, and I'm gonna make a change on the way out. I forgot to show where you pick the theme. So you have the playlist, you have that message I put in, here's that test message, and then here's where you can select the theme. So right now it's selected to my default theme. I could have made it halos, I could have made it no theme if I wanted to. There are all sorts of options that way. And then again, you just hit save and save playlist, and now it'll launch out and give you a link. This link might change, but actually I checked with Disco and they say that's on their end. That link will still point, even if it's not the same as the one you had before, it still is the same link for this one here. So it may be slightly different, but if you were to refresh it, the changes that we do would still be here in these on this particular link that you had from before. So that's kind of an interesting, you don't have to worry about keep sending new links over and over and over again. Disco works that out for you. Okay. To delete a playlist, again, you just come to the playlist, you just come over and you say, I want to delete the playlist. That will not delete the tracks on the playlist. So that's important to note. So if we go ahead and delete the playlist, it's going to ask you for all versions or latest version. I get rid of everything. It's gone now, but if I go back to the tracks, the track that we uploaded, this guy right here, is still there and could be used on another track still, on another playlist. And that takes care of that. So that's basically everything I thought would be valuable to take a look at. So have some fun with that and lots of success, I hope. And go out and let's go out and make some magic.